The following is a live presentation of Retro Sports Network, home of the champions of the past, present, and or future. You see, by my 50s, I thought I would be the Red Sox announcer. That was never going to be. Hi there, my name is Ron Chuck, and welcome to the program for this 19th day of February, 2025, and we are indeed doing the Boston Red Sox today as 1956 continues their Friday night in the nation's capital for this one between the Boston Red Sox and the Washington Nationals. The Red Sox are in first place in the American League. They have a game-and-a-half lead. The Nationals, the surprise of the year so far, they are projected to be in last place in the American League, but they aren't. They're in third. They're wedged behind Cleveland and Boston and still ahead of the New York Yankees, who really can't seem to get out of their own way. Ike DeLock, I believe, gets a start for Boston. Chuck Stobbs gets a start for Baltimore, for Washington, because I've really paid attention to what the heck I'm doing. Rainy night on the Potomac River. It's the Nats and the Sox next. As Retro Sports Network presents Major League Replay 1956. Today from Griffith Stadium in Washington, D.C. It is the Washington Nationals and the Boston Red Sox. And today's game is brought to you by DigitalDice.com, the best darn podcast on the web for your sports simulation and replay needs. Find us today on Spotify, Spreaker, iTunes, or wherever else fine podcasts are listed. Red Sox are 12-6 coming into this. I did have the pitching matchup right. How about that? 12-6 coming into this. The Nationals, although I haven't called the Senators, I need to change that. The Nats are 11-10. They've played a lot of early season baseball. When we do Milwaukee and Cincinnati tomorrow, the Braves have only played 11 games. So we said a rainy night here in D.C., 77 degrees. A light rain, and what little breeze there is blowing from right to left at 2. Chuck Stobbs gets the call for Washington. I'll be playing the Red Sox, as I always do. Today, not the Nats. How you doing, Big Dave? Chuck his record is good. His ERA is not. 2-1 on the year with a 5.85 ERA, making his 5th start of the year. Chuck is 27 years old. Throws the fastball around 85 and is a standard pitcher. He last pitched on the 5th, so 6 days ago, against the White Sox. He went the distance in a 6-3 win, 9 innings, 128 pitches, 11 hits, 3 runs, all earned. He walked 2 and struck out 1. So overall for Chuck, 32 1/3 innings, 44 hits, 23 runs, 21 earned. Mike in the truck, how are you? 4 home runs allowed. He's walked 9 and struck out 17. Here's how the Red Sox will line up against the lefty. Billy Goodman at second will lead off. Frank Malzone at third will bat second. No Ted Williams. Dick Gernert is in left field. He'll go third. Norm Zachin, or Zachin, looks like Zachin, at first will clean up. Jackie Jensen in right will bat 5th. Jimmy Pearsall in center will go 6th. Don Button at short batting 7th. Sammy White behind the plate going 8th. And Ike DeLock, not much of a hitter, will go 9th. Stobbs can go 150 pitches. Afternoon, Mr. Monday Night. Okay, John? So here is how the Nationals will line up defensively. Eddie Yost a 7 at third. Jerry Snyder at short, a 4 and a 5. Pete Runnels a 5 and a 7. Roy Sievers a 4 at first. Ernie Orovets is in left. He's a 5 and a 6. Carl Olson is a 5 and a 4 in center. And Jim Lemon, who leads the American League in hitting at .410, a 7 and an 8 in right. Clint Courtney is their catcher. He is a 5 and a 4, and Chuck Stobbs on the hill. He's an 8 with a 983 fielding percentage. I even looked up how to say Jose Valdivieso again, and he's not in the lineup today, so hopefully that's the last time I have to say that today. Billy Goodman at 227, no homers and 7 RBI. February 17th, 2025 will be for everybody known I took over D2D. Dave has been quite busy, and he asked if I wanted to do a solo show. It's the third one I've done. It's our 254th show. I've done 253, and he's missed 3, so he's done 251. The AI me will be doing the next show, however. So I gave you Billy's numbers. Stobbs on this rainy night delivers. There's a ground ball to Yost. Waits for it, throws to Severs at first, and that's how this one starts, 1 away. From Frank Malzone, hitting .348. Very limited duty, no homers, and 3 RBI. So I actually taped that one Sunday afternoon. Malzone over Severs and into right. That will go all the way down the corner. Lemon will try and squeeze this one. Malzone has 2. He's going for 3. The throw to Yost. And Frank has his second triple of the replay. He only plays in 27 games, but he's got 2 triples now. Here's Dick Gernert. Dick at 239, 2 homers and 11 RBI. Well, with the lefty on the hill and Stobbs, they weren't going to play Ted Williams. Although we are almost in the middle of May now, May 11th, 56. Ted doesn't play in cold weather. And I'm sure instead he's in his Sears camping equipment in his Ford truck, catching a few out of the Potomac. Pitch to Gernert is back to Stobbs. Malzone will hold. The throw to first, and Gernert is retired, so Malzone can't go anywhere. 2 out for Norm Zarchin. Hitting .235 and an RBI. Only had 84 real-life at-bats. Strikes out, and that'll do. So 1-2 fastball retires the side. Red Sox threaten but do not score. Ike DeLocke taking the hill. Boston nothing. Here comes Washington. You guys are splitting who's going to win this, huh? Ike Groove is in DeLocke, taking the hill, 27 years old, fastball pitcher, a hard fastball pitcher at 93 and a fly ball pitcher. 0-2 on the replay. He only makes 8 starts on the year, primarily out of the pen. This is start number 2 for him. I'm looking at John's avatar there, and it seems to have changed. He pitched 1 inning on the 8th against the White Sox in a 9-8 loss at Fenway. He allowed a solo homer. That was a lone hit and threw 10 pitches. His start, appears to have been bad on May 5th. 2 2/3, 85 pitches as the Tigers just Christmas treat him. 8 innings overall for Ike, 11 hits, 9 runs, all earned. That home run in Chicago, or against Chicago, he has walked 8 and struck out 7. So his record is 0-2, 2 saves, and an earned run average at 10-13. Here's how the Nationals will line up. Eddie Yost at third will lead off. Ernie Orovets will bat second and play left field. Pete Reynolds at second goes third. Roy Severs at first will clean up. Again, Jim Lemon hitting .410, the American League leader in home runs, will bat fifth in right field. Clint Courtney behind the plate going sixth. Carl Olson in center goes seventh. Jerry Snyder at short bats eighth, and Stobbs will go ninth. DeLocke can go 120 pitches. Let's see if it gets him more than 3 innings. Defensively for Boston, Dick Gernert is a 5 and a 5 in left. Jimmy Pearsall a 9 and an 8 in center. Jackie Jensen a 7 and a 7 in right. Frank Malzone is a 5 at third. Don Budden a 6 and a 7 at short. Billy Goodman a 5 and a 7 at second, so they can turn 2 if they need to. Zachin is a 2 at first. The battery, Sammy White behind the plate is an 8 and a 7, and DeLocke is not a great fielder. He's a 2, but that fielding percentage for a pitcher isn't bad at .933. Yost at .333, 2 homers and 15 RBI. You changed it on Facebook. Okay. I was wondering if I was crazy or anything. My avatar has never changed. Always been the original strat, 75 Reds. Okay. You caught me off guard with it. You could obviously do what you want with it, but... Pitch to Yost. There is a ground ball to third. Malzone, long throw to first, 1 out. I looked it up before we started today. Orovitz, by the way, at 222 and 2 RBI. He does have a triple. The cutoff between the Washington American League Club being called the Nationals and the Senators, apparently both names were good. But as far as Baseball Reference is concerned, they were the Nationals until the Senators the first few years of the American League, and then they became the Nationals. And this, the 56 season, was the last season they were called the Nationals. They became the Senators from 57 through 60, and before their move to Minneapolis to become the Minnesota Twins. D-Lock deals, struck him out. 2-2 off-speed pitch outside on the black, 2 out for Pete Runnels. Runnels at 317, 4 homers, and 15 RBI. Forever remain 90. How are you? So 2 out, nobody on. Game 19 for the Red Sox, game 22 for Washington. Runnels into center, back goes Pearsall, and Jimmy will corral that, and that'll do. No runs, no hits, no errors. After 1, no score. So Jackie Jensen, Jimmy Pearsall, and Don Button here in the second. Jackie at 276, a home run and 9 RBI. Jensen, in time, will become a television announcer for football. He worked the first couple of years when ABC started their long run, 66 and 67, on college football broadcasts, and he was paired with Keith Jackson. Pitch to Jensen. That's a ground ball to Snyder. Throws to Severs, 1 out. For Jimmy Pearsall, who worked a long time with Harry Carey with the White Sox, Jimmy at 235, no homers yet, and 11 RBI. Stops deals. That is in the shallow left center. Olsen coming in, rides a swing, 2 out. For Don Button, hitting 232, 3 homers and 13 RBI. The Red Sox are a team... I nearly choked on my lunch today, by the way. The Red Sox are a team in this era who are kind of like the Tigers. They have the talent to win games they probably shouldn't, but they aren't the Yankees, the Indians, or the White Sox. They aren't terrible, but they're not good. Pitch to Button is a base hit into right. Lemon will grab it. Runnels should have had it, and there's a 2-out single for Don. Brings up Sammy White, hitting 295, a home run, and 8 RBI. Stops deals. That is into left center, and that's a base hit. Button going all the way to third. The throw was cut off by Snyder, and the Red Sox have runners in the corners for their pitcher. That's the good news, is they have runners in the corners. The bad news is it's Ike DeLock. 0 for 3 with 2 strikeouts on the replay. 103 with 2 RBI in real life. So Button on third. White on first. Stops deals. And that is foul tipped. We're not bunting here. So DeLock with an excuse me swing, and it's an 0-2 count. There is a ground ball to Severs. Roy takes it to the bag, and the Red Sox again threaten but do not score. You'd think it was the mid-'80s Red Sox. Runners on third and less than 2 outs and nobody scoring. How about that? No runs, 2 hits, no errors. Bottom of the second, no score. I'm not bitter or anything. So Severs, Lemons, and Clint Courtney to face DeLock here in the second. Roy, perennial all-star with his team, 271, has already hit 7 home runs and driven in 26. DeLock deals, popped up, left side, Malzone on the grass, 1 out for Jim Lemon. Lemon is a good hitter. Real numbers of 271, 27 homers, and 96 RBI. If you want to know why the Senators are punching above their weight here in 56, he's hitting 410. He has 12 extra base hits and has driven in 24 in 21 games. So he's hitting .410. He's hit 4 home runs. And Lemon, any relation to Bob, has driven in 24. Laces that one foul. Third base side. Somebody from Richmond at lunch has made that catch. So a ball and 2 strikes. That is into right center field for a base hit. In fact, that squirts away from Jensen. Pearsall has to go play that under the scoreboard, and Lemon's in the second standing with his 7th double of the year. So the first hit for Washington brings up Clint Courtney. Clint at 373. A home run and 13 RBI. So Lemon on second. Courtney at the plate. Scoreless game here in the second. DeLocke deals. And that is hit, snared by Goodman. Throw to first. And Courtney is retired. I thought that was going to squirt past Goodman. It did not. 2 out for Carl Olson. His wife did Folger's ads. No, she didn't. 341, 2 homers, and 5 RBI for Carl. He kind of looks like Van Johnson there a little bit, who was the main character in Damn Yankees about the Washington Nationals. In fact, that is their uniform up in the upper right there. DeLocke runner on third, 2 out. Scoreless game in the second. Struck him out. I got him to chase a 1-2 off-speed pitch, and that will retire the side. No runs, 1 hit, no errors. We go to third. Sing it with me now. I like you like, you like Ike. Everybody likes Ike. Dun, dun, dun. Dun, dun, dun. We'll bring Ike to Washington. There. Here's my singing for the video. You can turn your speakers back on now. Opening 9 for Stobbs as we start the third. 35 pitches. 2 innings, 3 hits, and a strikeout. Billy Goodman, 0 for 1. There is a ground ball to Severs. Roy won't chance it. Did that get... Was that an error? And Goodman goes to second. That is an error. It played Severs. It hit off the back of his glove, and it scooted down the line on that wet grass, and Goodman is on second. First error of the ball game. Nobody out for Frank Malzone, who tripled in the and did not score in the first. I have put my audience to sleep. Stobbs deals. That's a ground ball to Snyder. Snap throw to first. Malzone retired. And Goodman goes to third for Dick Gernert, who's 0 for 1. Again, lefty pitcher in Stobbs, so Williams on the bench to start this one. You aren't going to get to see the Red Sox too many times in this replay, I don't think. And so I got to admit that I'm disappointed when I see the starting lineup and Ted isn't starting. Pitch to Gernert. There's a fly ball to center. Olson retreats, makes the catch. Goodman will tag and score, and so the Red Sox get on the board on the sac fly. So 2 out, 1-0 Boston for Zouchin. Norm struck out his first time up. 2 out, top of the third. Red Sox on this 11th of May are in first place, although you're not supposed to be paying too much attention to the standings until we get to Memorial Day. That is into right center for a base hit. Lemon will carry it and throw it back in. 2 out for Jackie Jensen, who's 0 for 1. We mentioned Jensen's football announcing. Where are you going to college? You must have played in college. Announcing skills. I don't know if you knew this or not. You want to take a guess when Dick Enberg called the Rams games on local radio for a few years in the 70s? Who his color guy was? I'll give you guys a couple moments to guess, or Google it. Pitch to Jensen. There is a ground ball to Runnels. He'll go to first, and Jackie's retired, and that will do. Red Sox get a run on a hit and that bad error by Severs, After 2.5, it's Boston 1, Washington nothing. So Snyder, Stobbs, and Yost to face the lock here in the third. Jerry hitting .220, not a full-time player. A home run and 3 RBI. Red Sox leading the poll, by the way. Slow chopper down to third. Malzone has to wait. Makes a bang-banger throw to first, and Snyder beat it out. That just kind of hugged the line and found the grass. And as you do, the grass a little bit longer in the infield to slow the ball down to help with the runners. And so Snyder took advantage of that. Second hit for Washington. Here's Chuck Stobbs, 1 for 12 on the replay. Not a terrible hitting pitcher at 179 and 9 RBI. On the real year, Malzone and Zauchin play for the bunt. Stobbs delivers it. Zauchin picks it up, throws to Goodman covering, and the sacrifice works. So 1 out. Snyder on second for Eddie Yost, who's 0 for 1. The lock opening 9, 37 pitches, 2 in the third, 2 hits and 2 strikeouts. Milwaukee and Cincinnati tomorrow at noon Eastern. Pitch to Yost. That's a high fly ball on the right. Jensen tracks it down, makes the catch. Snyder gives a good bluff, but he ain't going anywhere. 2 out for Orovitz. Ernie struck out his first time up. Can't hang out. Want to say how you doing, Andrew? It is cold where I am this morning. The wind chill at 12:20 Eastern time is still below 0. And we're supposed to be headed for an actual low tonight of 1. It has been a cold February in Burlington. 2 out, the lock deals. There is a pop-up left side. Malzone reaching for the seats. Does he get there? Nope, somebody from Foggy Bottom made that catch. So 1-2 the count. There is a line shot down to DeLocke, picks it up off a hop, throws to first, and that'll do. So Nationals get a hit, and they've left on 2. We go to the 4th here in Washington, or Washington, depending on what part of the country you're from. Boston 1, Nats nothing. So Pearsall, Budin, and White to face Stobbs here in the 4th. Jimmy 0 for 1 today. -4 not counting the win in Reading, Vermont. Wow. It is cold. It is cold. Quick story before he runs off. The Ice Bowl in Green Bay. And so they all got video exists of the Open where they're just freezing their tushies off on the field. It's Ray Scott, Jack Buck, and Frank Gifford. And so they get up in the booth, and Ray's got a thermos of coffee, and Jack has a cup on the table, and Frank, I'm not sure if he was trying to get some coffee or what, but those booths aren't heated. And so Frank looks over and sees that Jack's coffee hasn't frozen yet. And so Frank asks, well, you're not in a thermos. How are you keeping it warm? And Jack dryly turns to, obviously with not being on the air, turns to Frank and said, it's because it's vodka. Pitch to Pearsall, up the middle. Snyder has it, throws to first for the out. At elevation. Ugh. Don Budin singled his first time upper button. 1 for 1. Red Sox have 4 hits and a run. There's a ground ball to third. Yost, a long throw to first, and that's an error. So Eddie makes his 3rd error of the year, and Budin's on first. Severs, the foot came off the bag, so the throw was just offline enough that Roy couldn't keep his twinkle toes on the bag, and Budin reaches on the 2nd error of the game. So here's Sammy White, who singled his first time up. That is a ground ball to Snyder. Should be 2. Runnels for 1, Severs for 2. So a 6-4-3 double play. The Red Sox can't take advantage of the error. And after 3.5, it's Boston 1, Washington, nothing. So here are the standings. The Nationals are in 4th. Boston a game and a half up on Cleveland. Kansas City hanging in there at 10-8. They're 2 back. Then D.C. Chicago, forever remain will be happy about this, 7-8. Then Detroit, the Yankees. I mean, they've only played 21 games, but still 4.5 back. And, well, the less we say about Baltimore, the better. In the National League, Milwaukee technically has the best winning percentage, but Brooklyn is a game and a half ahead at 14-4. Forever remain is happy. Then St. Louis, 2 back, Cincinnati, 2.5. Eventually, Milwaukee will just catch up on some games here. I mean, Brooklyn coming into the day had played 18 games, and Milwaukee 11. The Nationals hitting 290 as a team. That leads the American League. The Red Sox 270, and Washington's fielding actually was 3rd coming into this at 978. So Ronald, Severs, and Lemon have faced a lock here in the 4th. Pete, 0 for 1. Up the middle, Goodman has it. Throws to first, 1 out. Billy playing, although he's at average 5, that fielding percentage is pretty good for a second baseman. Has played the position rather well today. Roy Severs, 0 for 1. In the left center, back goes Pearsall and Gernert. And that ball is off the wall. Gernert will grab it. Severs is in the second standing with his 5th double of the year. For Lemon, now hitting .418. Jim doubled his first time up. Pitch to Lemon. Struck him out. D-Lock got him to chase. So 1-2 fastball. 2 out for Courtney, who is 0 for 1. And Clint draws the 2-out walk. First walk of the game for Ike. Here's Carl Olson. He struck out his first time up. So first and second, 2 out, bottom of the 4th. Pitch to Olson. Ground ball to first. Zouchin over to DeLocke, and that will do. So the Senators or Nationals, depending on how you feel about that, threaten but do not score. No runs, a hit, no errors. We go to the 5th here at Griffith. Boston 1, Washington nothing. So DeLocke, Goodman, and Malzone to face Stobbs here in the 5th. Ike, 0 for 1. Struck him out. That's 2 for Stobbs. An 0-2 changeup got him inside on the black looking. So 18 batters deep for Stobbs. 62 pitches. 4 1/3. 4 hits and 2 strikeouts. The run is not earned. For Billy Goodman, he's 0 for 2. He scored that run his last time up in the 3rd, reaching on an error. Into right center. Back goes Olson. 1 out or 2 out. For Malzone, who tripled in the 1st, but did not score. He is 1 for 2. That is into right. Another base hit for Malzone. That's going to get past Lemon, and Frank has 2 as he turned on the afterburners to throw to 3rd, and Malzone has his 2nd triple of the day. He had 1 in real life, and that's his 3rd of the replay. So Gernert, who had a sac fly, I believe, in the 3rd, can't do it here. He's going to have a base hit in order to score Malzone. In the center, Olson makes the catch, retires aside. Halfway home. Hey, it's 14 degrees and my computer finally realizes I'm in Vermont. Halfway home, Red Sox 1, Nationals nothing. If you joined us late, here's how we got here. Red Sox 1 run, 5 hits, no errors. Washington, no runs, 3 hits, and 2 errors. Dick Gernert, the lone run of the game, or drove in the lone run of the game, a sac fly in the third. Frank Malzone, not known for his speed, has legged out 2 triples and 3 at-bats. Ike DeLocke, a 3-hitter through 4, a walk, and 3 strikeouts. Chuck Stobbs, a 5-hitter through 5, an unearned run, and 2 strikeouts. Jerry Snyder, Chuck Stobbs, and Eddie Yost here in the bottom of the 5th to face DeLocke. Jerry singled his first time up. And that is in the left field. That will drop in front of Gernert, and that's a single. So second hit for Snyder, 4th hit of the ball game. For Washington, Malzone and Zauchin playing the bunt. Stobbs puts it down. Throw from first to Goodman, and Stobbs is retired, so Snyder punches his ticket to second base. 1 out for Eddie Yost, who's 0 for 2. DeLocke, 70 pitches, 4 1/3, 4 hits, a walk, and 3 strikeouts. You guys are awful quiet today. DeLocke, it has rained all the way through, by the way. A light rain. Just enough to be refreshing. 72 degrees. This is a night game in Washington. And what little breeze there is blowing out to center at 2. Into right field. That will drop for a hit. That will drop for an extra base hit. Pearsall actually has to play it off the scoreboard. Snyder around third. Yost has 2. He'll hold there, and this game is tied at 1. So Eddie, with his 3rd double of the replay, drives in the run. It's Orovitz now. Ernie 0 for 2 with a K. So a 1-1 tie as we play the bottom of the 5th. To Button. Over to first, and Ernie is retired. Yost will hold. 2 out for Runnels. Pete is 0 for 2. Braves and Reds tomorrow. Noon Eastern, 9 Pacific, right here on Retro Sports Network. Struck him out. DeLocke has fanned 4. Runnels chased a hard fastball, and that'll do. No, 1 run, not none. It says 1 there, Ron. 2 hits and no errors. After 5 here in D.C., Boston 1, Washington 1. For Zauchin, who's 1 for 2, Norm is singled and struck out. Got him. That's 3 for Stobbs. He chased a curve. 2nd strikeout of the day for Jackie Jensen now, 0 for 2. So you guys didn't take a guess. Who worked with Dick Enberg doing Rams games on KMPC? He appeared on the stream this past week. It was Don Drysdale. Pitch to Jensen. There is a slow chopper down to third. Yost over to Severs. Jensen is out on a bang-banger. So 2 out for Pearsall. Jimmy is 0 for 2. Yep, for a number of years in the mid-'70s, Don Drysdale was Dick Enberg's color guy on Rams games. They were a pair on television for Angel games and on radio, KMPC 710 Los Angeles. I always thought that Drysdale was a highly underrated announcer. He was really good. Pitch to Pearsall. There's a ground ball to Runnels, a hard hopper throw to first, and Jimmy is retired. No runs, no hits, no errors. Bottom of the 6th here in D.C. Boston 1, Washington 1. So Severs, Lemon, and Courtney to face DeLocke here in the 6th. Roy has doubled. He's 1 for 2. That's into left center. Back goes Gernert, and that ball is gone. Almost on the Natty Bo sign out there in left center, and Washington goes up by the score 2-1. For Roy, that's his 8th home run of the year, and he's now driven in 27. Don't know how long it'll last for Washington. They're still a couple years away from being a good team. But you take what you can. Remember, as Jim Lemon steps to the plate, 1 for 2 today with a double and a strikeout, they swept the Yankees at home to start the season. Pitch to Lemon. Got him. DeLock got him to look at an 0-2 changeup. 1 out for Clint Courtney. For Ike, that's 5. Courtney 0 for 1 with a walk. The lone walk given up by DeLock. Ike deals, and Courtney draws another walk. For Carl Olson, who's 0 for 2 with a strikeout. 2 runs, 6 hits, 2 errors for Washington. They have left on 5. How you doing, P-Jet? 1 run, 5 hits, and no errors for Boston. And they have left on 5. Olson, slow ground ball to first. Zouch into Budden for 1, back to first, and it is a 3-6-3 double play. However, the solo shot from Severs puts Washington on top. 1 run, 1 hit, no errors. We go to the 7th. Washington 2, Boston 1. It's both Nationals and Senators. We talked about this a little bit earlier. Baseball Reference has them as the Nationals, and I think that's from like 1906 to 1956. And then the last several years they were in D.C., the original ball club, that is, not the expansion team. They were the Senators, starting in 57. Budden, White, and DeLock to face Stobbs here in the 7th. Don 1 for 2 with a single. Yep. And so, it's not uncommon for teams to have dual nicknames. I mean, the Bo Sox in Boston, the Bombers in New York, the Chi Sox in Chicago, the Bruins for the Cubs, and Bengals for Tigers and such like that. Where it changes is that both names were kind of interchangeable and semi-official. Yep, the Phillies were indeed the Blue Jays during World War II, including having the colors. I'm not quite sure what caused that. Pitch to Budden. Got him. That's 4 for Stobbs. Chased a 1-2 fastball, 1 out. Sammy White, 1 for 2. He is singled and grounded into a double play. I don't know what they would have called Toronto if Philadelphia had kept the name Blue Jays. They were the Maple Leafs in the International League. I'm not sure if Toronto had gotten that expansion team in 77 that the hockey team would have allowed them to have the same name. Popped up. Courtney dodges the drops to the screen. No, sir. And it's 1-2. There's a slow chopper down to Stobbs. First base side. Throws to Severs for the out, 2 away. We're going to let DeLock hit here. Ike is 0 for 2 with a K today. Pitch count is fine. And he's pitching just fine. Struck him out. Stretch time. 2-1. So the Nationals or Senators, whatever your poison is, lead 2-1 at the stretch. Jerry Snyder has singled twice, been bunted over to second twice, and scored in the 5th. Popped up right side, Zouchin. A rainmaker on this rainy evening in D.C. He reaches in the empty stands and makes the catch. 1 out. Not a lot of people here. In fact, in the 8-team American League, Washington drew barely over 400,000. In 77 games, that's less than 10,000 per. Chuck Stobbs has bunted twice. Stays in the game. Drills this one right to Goodman, 2 out. Eddie Yost 1 for 3, a double and an RBI. DeLocke, 27 batters, 6 2/3, 6 hits. The home run to Severs. He has walked 2 and struck out 5. 2 out, bottom of the 7th. 2-1 Washington. Yost, a ground ball to Goodman. Billy throws to first, and that'll do. So, okay, here we go. Jose Valdivieso, that's as close as it's going to get, is in to play short for Snyder, who actually went 2 for 3 today. And we'll bat in the 8th hole. There's Jose right there. The interesting thing is that Valdivieso only played until 1961, and he was a part-time player at that. So it'll be Goodman, Malzone, and Gernert to face Stobbs here in the 8th. Chuck, 97 pitches, 7 innings, 5 hits, and 5 Ks. The run is unearned. Goodman scored that run, reached on an error, is 0 for 3. There is a base hit in the right center field. Lemon will throw it back in, and Billy's got himself a single. So 6 hits aside for both of these teams. Here's Malzone. Frank, 2 for 3. He has tripled twice. Has been on third twice with less than 2 out. But you notice there's a 0 in that run column. He did not score. Stobbs deals. There's a ground ball to first. Severs throws it to Stobbs. Malzone is retired. Goodman goes to second, 1 away. For Gernert, who is 0 for 2 with an RBI. Scotty. Here's Washington, his alumnus, or alumni, where he graduated from college from, Washington Western University, just won, both for the men and the women, the Division II Indoor Track and Field Championship. They are an athletic powerhouse. Pitch to Gernert. That is up the middle for a base hit. Olson will grab it. Goodman around third. They're going to run on Olson's arm. And the throw to Courtney is nowhere near close. And the Red Sox have tied this up at 2. So Gernert can steal. Well, wait a minute. Zouchin 1 for 3. Oh, let's pinch hit. Who could hit a lefty? Do I bring in Williams to pinch hit now? You don't do Mickey Vernon, which is why Zouchin's there, and I'm surprised because Vernon knows this park better than anybody. Yeah, I suppose you kind of have to. So I believe we will double switch here. Williams will stay, will go in the game and left, and DeLocke will come out. So Ted, 455. He does have a pinch hit homer, hitting 400. 3 home runs and 7 RBI. Gernert on first. 1 out, top of the 8th. Oh, just the conference titles? That's still pretty good, though. Williams, slow bounder down to Runnels. Valdivieso for 1, Severs for 2, and that is a 4-6-3 double play. Boy, that worked out really well, didn't it? After 7.5. Red Sox get the tying run on 2 hits, no errors. They've left on 5. We go to the bottom of the 8th, 2-2. So we'll pull the lock. We're going to go with Dave Sizzler. Yep, because the other options are Sullivan is still a starter. Willard Nixon starts in 4. Well, I could go with Nixon. We'll go with Sizzler. And we will put him in the 3 hole. Ted will play left field. I need a first baseman. And it'll be Mickey Vernon with the V. So here's the Red Sox lineup. Now, defensively, it is Williams, Pearsall, and Jensen in the outfield. Ted is a 4 and a 4. Malzone, Budin, Gooden, and Mickey Vernon, who's a 7 at first. With Sisler, who we'll tell you about in a moment, and Sammy White, the batter. So Sisler goes in the 3 hole. Ted stays in the game hitting cleanup. And Vernon comes in the game batting 9th at first. Sisler never opened up a steakhouse as far as I know. 25 years old, fastball pitcher, 89, a flyball pitcher. Will eventually start 14 games for Boston to this replay. Hasn't done it yet. Last pitched 4 days ago against Cleveland in a 6-3 win. 1 inning, 29 pitches, 2 hits, an earned run, a walk and a strikeout. So Dave trying to get the last 6 outs here. 9 1/3 innings, 10 hits, 2 runs, both earned. He's walked 4 and struck out 10 for an ERA of 1.93. So when the Carpenters, just like me, they long to be in Philly. No, not them. The Phillies, they wanted to disassociate the team from the previous owner that was banned for betting on baseball, plus a long history of the team losing. Blue Jays was a submission for a fan for a contest. Okay. So Oravets, Reynolds, and Severs here in the 8th, Ernie 0 for 3 with a K. That's a good story. I did not know that. I mean, that makes sense. And weren't they still, at that point, John, second fiddle to the A's? I mean, they both played in Shibe Park, but that was Connie Mack's ballpark. Oravets stays in, draws a walk. So the tying or the go-ahead run is on. Nobody out for Pete Reynolds. Pete 0 for 3 with a K. Runner goes, ground ball, base at left field. Malzone should have had it. Williams throws it in, and the Senators or Nationals have runners on the corners and nobody out for Roy Severs. And they will play in. They want to get that run at the plate. So Orbit's on third, Reynolds on first, Severs at the plate. Sisler in a 2-2 tie, trying to keep the door closed. He deals, pitch to Severs, popped up. Malzone calls for it, makes the catch. 1 out, and now they'll play a double play. John Hopkins pushed back hard because they were John Hopkins. They were known as the Blue Jays and chose the name for its uniqueness. The Carpenters finally came before 50 when they realized it just never caught on. I think it would be really tough to change the name of a team. I mean, look at the pushback for Cleveland and the Washington football team, Commanders, Redskins, what have you, about those name changes. It used to be more common. So how did Toronto end up with the Blue Jays? Jim Lemon, 1 for 3. He has doubled and struck out twice. Both teams have 2 runs on 7 hits. The Nationals have 2 errors. And they've left on 5. Pitch to Lemon. Got him! Sisler got him to swing and miss on a 0-2 fastball. And there's 2 out. And for Lemon, who has hit the cover of the ball this year, has struck out 3 times today. So it'll be Clint Courtney, who has walked twice. He's 0 for 1. So Orvet's on third, Reynolds on first. It'll be Jensen, Pearsall, and Budin for the Red Sox in the 9th. Sisler deals. Courtney up the middle. Goodman throws to Vernon with a V, and that will do. The Nationals threaten but do not score. No runs, a hit, and they leave on 2. And after 8, it's Boston 2, Washington 2. Other name submissions were the Aces, the Bell Ringers, the Keystones, and the Minutemen. I think Phillies was the right choice. Why the Aces? There was no gambling in Atlantic City. Keystones, obviously, for the Keystone State. And Minutemen because of their ties to the Revolution. Excuse me, Jackie Jensen's 0 for 3. Stobbs trying to get his 3rd win of the year. Clearly his best pitch ball game. Into left center, back goes Olsen, makes the catch. Went to the track to get that one and hauled it in. It has again rained all the way through. Jimmy Pearsall 0 for 3. So this small crowd has gotten smaller as we go along. Olsen, Valdivieso, and maybe Stobbs in the 9th for Washington. Pearsall up the middle, of base hit. No! Olsen dug his cleats in, dove, and made a great play. How about that? 2 out. Robbed him of a hit. Don Buden 1 for 3. He has singled and struck out. Blue Jays were chosen for their toughness and fighting spirit as birds. Thus the moniker Fightin' Phils. I don't know if my mom's watching or not. Where I grew up, where she lives now, we have a lot of Blue Jays. We're not talking the Tom Cheek or Toronto variety. And Blue Jays are pesky little things. And so she and Dad were ardent bird watchers. Dad more so than Mom. So one day, Mom had had enough. Pulled out her BB gun. I don't think it helped at all, but it made her feel better. Don 1 for 3. He has singled and struck out. Nobody on top of the 9th. In a 2-2 tie. Stobbs struck him out. That's 6. So Buden chased it, and that will take care of the Red Sox in regulation. No runs, no hits, and no errors. Bottom of the 9th, Boston 2, Washington 2. So Olsen, Valdivieso, and Stobbs. I wasn't threatening you. You live in hot syrup. Our wind chill this morning, Paul, was 7 below 0. What was yours? Olsen is 0 for 3. He has struck out and grounded into a double play. I wasn't being threatened. We're talking about one of my childhood homes being overrun by Blue Jays. And again, not talking about the Toronto variety. Minus mid-teens. Yeah, it's cold. Pitch to Olsen. Sisler walked him. So the winning run is on. John says, we always have a couple Blue Jays and Cardinals in your backyard. Every spring and summer, they get along, but they pick on the Finches and the Robins. Valdivieso hitting .345 and 5 RBI. He is the winning run is Olsen. It is sunny in Saranac Lake and in Philadelphia, where it's always sunny. So everything will melt and freeze. How much did you get out of that storm? We got, by the way, I'm not sure if that final number was in when we were all together on Monday, but we got, in Burlington, 16.5 inches of snow out of that storm. Pitch to Jose. Line drive to Buden, and Olsen has to scamper back. So let's see what they do with Stobbs. He has sacrificed twice. He is 0 for 1. The wind chill in Bellingham is 51 today, but rain is expected. Scotty, did you know that there is a USPHL team in Bellingham? The same organization that Mr. Gardner calls games for? I will refrain from further mentioning of the weather in Washington. They play back, and Harmon Killebrew will pinch hit. So if the game goes extra, it won't be Stobbs. Killebrew has an RBI, hitting .429 as a pinch hitter. Overall, 222, 5 homers, and 13 RBI in real life. .429 and an RBI on the replay. John says 3 on Thursday, dusting on Saturday, and dusting to 3 tomorrow. That storm that's supposed to leave Mike in the Trucks part of Virginia with a good 8 to 12 inches isn't going to make it far enough north to bother us. Again, we got enough. Yeah, I can't handle any more snow, Gus the Wonder Dog says. Bet those walks are fun. The other day I was watching them clear out a parking lot across from where I live with a bulldozer and a dump truck. Just trying to get it all there. It all goes and gets dumped in the lake. Pitch to Killebrew. Struck him out. That's 2 for Sisler. 1-2 fastball right there at the knees, and that'll bring up Eddie Yost. So last chance before we get some bonus baseball for you. Eddie's 1 for 4, a double and an RBI. Olson on first, the winning run. It'll be White, Vernon, and Goodman for Boston if we go to the 10th. There is a ground ball foul, third base side. And we'll do it again. So Olson on first. Full count pitch. That is a ground ball right side. Olson goes to third, and the winning run is 90 feet away. For Orovitz, Ernie 0 for 3, a walk and a strikeout. So Yost on first, Olson on third, 8th hit for Washington, trying to go to 12 and 10. Sisler, deep breath and deals. That will win the ball game as that will drop in front of Jackie Jensen. The Senators Nationals walk it off 3-2. So 2 hours and 17 fake minutes. Oh, Scotty goes to some of those games. Unfortunately, the arena has terrible seating. 3 runs, 9 hits, and 2 errors for Washington, who moves to 12 and 10. They left on 7. The Red Sox fall to 12 and 7. 2 runs, 7 hits, and no errors. Chuck Stobbs goes the route. 9 innings, 7 hits, 2 runs, 1 earned. He struck out 6. We'll give Peter gave Stobbs the MVP. George Sisler takes the loss, an inning and 2/3, 3 hits, a run it was earned. He walked 2 and struck out 2. Ike DeLocke, 7 strong innings, 6 hits, 2 runs, both earned. The homer by Severs, who I'll give the MVP to. He went 2 for 4, homered and doubled. DeLocke walked 2 and struck out 5. So there you have it. 3-2 the final here. We'll wait for that to populate. And so the Red Sox lead now goes to a game, and Washington just doesn't seem to be going anywhere. The rest of this Friday night in baseball for you. Everything at night. On this May 11th, Philadelphia beat Pittsburgh 7-5. Meyer picks up his first win. Law takes his 4th loss. Andy Semenick 4 for 4, hits his 4th. Drives in 3. Giants double up the Dodgers at Ebbets 4-2. Ruben Gomez goes to 2-1. Roger Craig 1-1. Marjanieri hits his first of the year, goes 1 for 1. In what could be considered a non-pitchers duel at Crossley, Cincinnati outlasts Milwaukee 12-11. Reds pound out 19 hits, Milwaukee 17. Frank Robinson homers, drives in 4, has 4 hits. Logan 2 for 5, 2 homers, and 4 RBI. Freeman goes to 1-0. Trowbridge takes a loss 1-1. Cleveland beats Kansas City 7-4. Garcia 2-1. Cretlow 0-3. Chico Carrasqual 2-for-4. It's his third and drives in 2. Detroit beats Chicago 5-4. Larry goes to 1-3. Harshman 2-1. Ron Northey, where's it, Bill? 2-for-3, hits his first, drives in 2. Last but not least, Andy Carey, a 4-hit day. Hank Bauer 2-for-4, hits his third, drives in 4. Whitey Ford beats the Orioles 12-2. Whitey 2-3. Palika 2-1. Could you turn for the standings page? You can see there in the bottom, Chicago 7-9, 3.5 behind Boston. Tomorrow's game, Buell and Lawrence between Milwaukee and Cincinnati at noon Eastern, 9 Pacific. I think that our resident White Sox fan was trying to get me to not mention their place in the standings. They should do better. I mean, Boston is overplaying. Washington is overplaying. Kansas City is overplaying. So the Yankees, I mean, you're 3.5 out, but same margin as the Yankees. So National League ball for you tomorrow at noon Eastern, 9 Pacific. Until then, I'm Ron Juckett. Thank you so much for watching. We'll talk to you tomorrow. Have a good one, everybody.